It is raining. It has been raining for 6 days. You cannot hunt. You cannot gather. You cannot travel. The fire keeps going out. The shelter leaks. Everything you own is wet, and you have nowhere to be and nothing to do. This is the situation that faced ancient humans with remarkable regularity, not as a crisis, as a season, as a rhythm of life that every hunter-gatherer group on Earth has always had to navigate. What did they do? The honest answer changes everything about how you understand the development of human cognition, creativity, social bonding, and the invention of culture itself. Stay with me. Let's start with what most people assume. Most people assume that ancient humans in bad weather simply suffered, huddled, waited, did as little as possible until conditions improved. Wrong. Forced inactivity is one of the most cognitively productive states the human brain can enter. And ancient humans, with no screens, no books, no artificial light, experienced forced inactivity in its purest form. Modern neuroscience has a name for what happens when external demands on attention are removed. The default mode network activates. The brain stops processing immediate tasks and starts doing something else entirely. It consolidates memories. It runs social simulations. It generates spontaneous connections between ideas that would never occur during focused work. It wanders in ways that produce insight. This is not rest. It is a different kind of cognitive work, and it produces things that focused attention cannot. Rain Week was default mode weak. And what came out of it? Let's look at what we actually know. The oldest known musical instruments, bone flutes carved from vulture and mammoth bones, date to approximately 40,000 years ago. They were found in caves in Germany, caves where people sheltered, caves where people waited out weather. The oldest known cave paintings, the animals and handprints, and abstract symbols at Chauvet, at Lascaux, at Altamira, were made in sheltered spaces deep inside cave systems, places that were not living areas, places that required deliberate entry, places where people went specifically to do something that was not survival. The oldest known jewelry, perforated shells worn as ornaments, dates to at least 130,000 years ago. Objects that served no survival function, objects that took time and intention to make. None of these things required rain specifically, but all of them required something that rain reliably provided, time with nothing urgent to do. Here is what researchers who study contemporary hunter-gatherer groups consistently document. During periods of enforced rest, bad weather, illness, seasonal downtime, these communities do not become passive. They become more socially active, more verbally elaborate, more creative. Night talk, which we covered in a previous video, intensifies. Stories get longer and more complex. Jokes get more sophisticated. The social information network of the group processes more, connects more, transmits more. Skills get practiced. Someone who has been meaning to repair a tool finally does it. Someone who has been observing a technique being used by another member of the group tries to replicate it. Children watch adults and ask questions that adults have time to answer. Knowledge transfer, the transmission of skills, techniques, observations, and stories from experienced group members to younger ones, happens primarily during downtime, not during the hunt, not during food preparation, during the periods when there is nothing more urgent to do. Rain Week was school week, and then there is the social function that almost nobody discusses. Hunter-gatherer groups spend most of their active time in configurations of 2 to 5 people, a hunting pair, a foraging group, a mother with young children. The full group rarely moves or works together. Bad weather forced the full group into the same physical space for extended periods. This is not comfortable by default. Extended close proximity in confined spaces produces social friction. Conflicts that have been manageable when people can simply separate and go in different directions become unavoidable when separation is not possible. Ancient humans in a leaking shelter for 6 days had to solve social problems that good weather allowed them to defer, and solving those problems, negotiating, appeasing, mediating, laughing things off, telling stories that reframed a conflict as something shared, required and developed exactly the social and linguistic skills that distinguish human beings from every other species. The capacity for complex social negotiation, for humor as a tension release mechanism, for narrative as a tool for reframing and resolving conflict, for ritual as a shared activity that synchronizes group emotional states and creates solidarity. All of it gets exercised most intensively when you have nowhere to go. Some researchers now believe that the development of fully modern human language, the kind of language capable of discussing things that that are not present, events that have not happened, relationships and obligations and moral principles may have been significantly accelerated by exactly this kind of forced cohabitation. Language that can handle abstract concepts is more useful when the physical world is temporarily removed from the equation, when you cannot point at the thing you are discussing, when the hunt is not happening, and you must talk about it as an absent event. Rain forces abstraction, and abstraction is the cognitive leap that separates human language from every other animal communication system. One more thing. Ancient humans in sustained bad weather were also doing something with their hands. Not tools primarily, not food. Their hands were making things. Weaving, carving, knotting, plaiting. The material arts that require fine motor skill, sustained attention, and no urgency. These were rainy day activities. The oldest woven plant fiber fragments found archaeologically date to at least 50,000 years ago. The oldest cordage, twisted plant fiber rope, dates to around 40,000 years ago. These are not things you make while running. They are things you make while sitting still with nothing pressing to do. The entire material culture of early humans, the baskets, the nets, the bindings, the bags, the mats, much of it was probably produced during the enforced stillness that bad weather created. Modern humans treat downtime as something to be filled, managed, and escaped from. Ancient humans turned it into some of the most productive and culturally significant periods of their existence. The rain was not an obstacle to human development. If you want to know, you know what to do.